Hey guys, Billy Holmes, Holmes Hot Rod and Cycles. Thanks for tuning in today. Today's episode is going to be us preparing a little bit for the border-to-border trip that I spoke about earlier. Man, it's going to be an awesome trip. I've been wanting to do this for a while. Long story short, basically going from Mexico to Canada, back down to Mexico since I live in South Texas. And we're going to be recording and sending out content along the way. So we ordered a DJI Action 5. And today's episode, we're going to be putting a mount for the camera on our helmets. That mount is these guys here. Hopefully y'all can see that. It is Tech Moto. I believe they're based out of Canada. This is the mount that we're getting, and we have a couple of legs and extensions that go on this, that go on the camera. But this is the mount itself. Hopefully you can see that. And again, it's from these guys here. Check them out, Tech Moto. And we're gonna go ahead and install that today. Let's get to it. So this is actually made to fit this particular helmet. It has a flat spot similar to the Simpson helmet. And some universal ones, they just don't have the correct bend. This has a very, very slight peak on it. So a flat one wouldn't work, and then a rounded one wouldn't work. A rounded one works great up here. But so that's the reason I bought this. It came in, like I said, again, here's the guys here. Came in this awesome chrome little package here. And then it came with a, you're probably not going to see that, decal and a alcohol prep pad. Now the one thing I'm going to do that's going to be a little bit different is I don't really trust this 3M tape. This is what everybody uses. Some people use an kind of a knockoff brand. I don't trust the tape. You hear horror stories about these things falling off, and I'm not trying to replace a $500 camera. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take this double-sided tape off, and I am going to JB weld it to my helmet. A lot of people don't want to mess up a really nice helmet by putting this kind of stuff. They want to be able to roll the tape off if they need to. Once I put this on, I'm not going to take it off. It's just a black helmet. It'll look something like this without the tape. And once I take the leg and the camera off, it's not going to be a big deal to see that. So I'm going to JB weld it. So the first thing I'm going to do, and this isn't a flaw in their design. Everybody uses this 3M tape. It's just a lot of times you hear horror stories about it coming out. And then I live in South Texas where it gets really, really hot. So decals and double-sided tape and all of that kind of stuff does not last around here very long. And you can see I just pulled it, and I mean, you can just pull the tape off fairly easy. And so that right there is what I'm going to be bonding to the helmet. Now there is an arrow that goes straight up that tells you up, and I need to find where you can see the curvature. I need to find where it sits on the helmet the best and where it matches the curve of the helmet. And that's about right there, about the bottom of that vent. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to, just so this JB Weld, the one thing I don't like about it, this particular one, is it dries tan. There is not a black one that I know of. That would be awesome, but for this particular bond, it dries tan. So I'm going to go ahead and see where I want to mount this, and then I'm going to put tape around it so I don't happen to get any, there you go, any excess of this plastic bond anywhere. And then if it gets tan just a little bit somewhere, I can probably wipe it off before it dries, or I can also just touch up some black paint. but that's where it's going to sit. So I just taped off this. And now to bond this better, I'm going to get this green Scotch-Brite pad, and I'm going to scuff up this particular area just to give it a little bit more tooth for it to sit on. I'm not going to go crazy. I'm not going to shave plastic off or nothing like that. Just going to any kind of coating. I'm going to sand that off and scuff it up just a little bit. Now, would you do this with a $1,000 helmet? Probably not. If it had a really nice paint job or something like that. But again, this is a couple $100 helmet if I remember right. And it is flat black. So I'm not messing up a whole lot. Okay. And we'll clean that off with the alcohol pad. This here, if you can see, it has little grooves in it. So that'll help with the bonding of it. But I'm also going to clean this off here. All the tape is off. And I'll wipe that down with a chemical pad as well. So the one thing we need to make sure though is that this arrow right here goes up. Okay, so now we're going to open up this chemical pad, or chemical wipe, sorry. We're going to wipe off the area that we just scuffed up really well. And then we are going to, you can see all of that right there. I'm going to clean this up. Try not to touch it once we're done on the back side. All right, so we clean that up. We're going to set that to the side. Set the helmet to the side as well without trying to touch that. Then we're going to get this JB Weld. And this is one of those two-part that you got to mix. You can actually use the plastic boat it comes into. Oh, it actually says mixing tray. There you go. Used to not, but that was the trick of the trade. Just use that. So we will actually use that to mix it. A lot of people mix it on cardboard, which is probably fine enough, but a lot of people will say that the cardboard will soak in some of the chemical. So I'm going to squeeze this. This is the only reason I bought this. So I'm not going to use the whole tube, of course. I don't know how much it's going to take, so I'm just going to squeeze some out here. I do not want it going everywhere. So let's go ahead and see if I can get this. We'll squeeze. Okay. I feel like that's plenty. You can hopefully see the difference in the color. All right. Moment of truth. I'm going to get some of this on here. We're going to not touch the back. There's the arrow up. We're going to put this, hopefully you can see that. All the way around. If it runs, not a big deal. You can probably wipe it off or paint it. All right, so I think that will do it. What we'll do is wipe off any extra real quick. It's kind of falling down in those little grooves. Shouldn't be a big deal. Now we can place it on the helmet. We've already taped it, so we kind of know where it sits. Hopefully I'm not in the way, but I'm going to set this down right where the tape was. And then I'm going to try to even it up so it's in the middle of the helmet and it's actually going up and down and not at an angle. so the camera is correct. Sorry if you can't see this, I'm just trying to get this part more important. Okay, with it sitting there, I'm going to go ahead and press just for a few minutes. I'll hold it like this just to kind of give it time to set up a little bit. All right, so we're going to leave that there. We're going to prop this helmet up with something so it sits like this. Lean it up against something, and there you go. All right, so we're going to let that sit, and we will come back after probably 30 minutes just to check, make sure everything is still looking good, and then once it is, we'll let it sit for 24 hours, and then we'll give it a shot. All right, guys, and we're back. It's been 24 hours since we put this mount here on the helmet using this JB Weld epoxy. Hopefully you can see that. It is the plastic bonder high strength structural adhesive. Here is the mount. Hopefully you can see that. And we are going to give it a go. So I have this little mount here. We're going to slide it in and see real quick, one, if it slides in, if I didn't get the epoxy everywhere. All right, looks like it's going to have to slide in. So the issue that I'm running into now, as you can see, hopefully get my face out of here, this spot here is too high to mount from the bottom. Once it goes in the bottom, it wants to go in, but then it's bottoming out here. So for that to work, I'd either have to barely shave this little small piece off here, or I'm going to have to mount it from the top. So we can do the top, goes in perfect, very easy, and then it latches down. So there's the mount with it on top, and I guess the test is going to be me grabbing this thing and yanking this helmet back and forth and seeing if this holds. Hopefully it does. Hopefully I don't drop my helmet, but there's only one way of finding out. So we're going to yank this back and forth. That's this way. Now we're going to yank this way. And it looks like it's holding.
Wow.
I don't see any cracks or anything coming off. I don't hear anything from the plastic. I mean, I'm shaking this thing pretty dang good. I kind of want to see if I can break it, really. But we're not going to do that. So it's mounted on there. It's not coming off right now. The time will tell once it's out in the heat and it gets warm and plastic gets heated up. We're going to see. But the camera, and I'll show you the camera that I'm running on here, is it's a Action 5 DJI. I'll go ahead and mount this on the helmet so you can see. And I have a couple of different of these, I guess you would say these arms, so I can place these just right. But that's the first one I grabbed. It has the most, I guess you'd say, angle on it or reach on it. So that's the one I wanted to grab to see if I could get leverage to rip this thing off. But we're going to, so there it is mounted. You can see with this flipped up that it's just higher than my nose, so it shouldn't be in the way. Usually you ride about like this angle, so it should be fine. This will also lean forward like this or like this. And again, I do have another bracket here that's not so high and not so far out. It's more down here, so that will lower the camera, and I can use that one as well. So but that's the test, and we'll pull this off just to make sure that comes out, and that's off just like that. Simple as putting this in, done, and then the safety latch right there. So I'm thrilled. I'm happy. For right now, it looks like it's going to work out. I have a camera mount I can take off just as easy as that, and then that's what it looks like with it off. So that's it, guys. So it looks like it's going to hold. Again, JB Weld this, and then I gave all of the bracket information at the beginning of the video. It is for the Covert FX, and the company is Tech Moto. Says it right here. So Tech Moto, based out of Canada. Look them up, check it out. Looks like it's a nice piece, and looks like the JB Weld's going to work for the time being. I will update if that changed. All right, that's going to be it for today's episode. So I appreciate it, guys. Billy Holmes, Holmes Hot Rod and Cycles, and we will see y'all out on the road. Take it easy.